So what we're going to do here is take a look at the first of three parts of getting you ready for your final exam. I'm going to go over questions 1 through 11 from this practice final exam, which is a fantastic way for you to prepare for your real final. So let's go over questions 1 through 11, basically the chapter 1 review, and then I'll have 2 more parts to these review videos covering chapters 2, 3, and 4. So chapter 1. First part of the course, we talked about scientific notation, converting numbers from ordinary decimal to scientific notation. This first one, I move the decimal place over until I get an A value between 1 and 10, and I move the decimal over 3 places, and there is your answer to the first one. All of your questions will be multiple choice. That one happened not to be a multiple choice format. Same here, 3.521 times 10 to the negative 3. The reason that is negative is because this number is a small number. The reason that 3 was positive is because the first number was a large number. Now, let's go on to number 2 and take a look at ranking these from least to greatest. We have some values that are written in scientific notation, some that are written in ordinary decimal. So what I have here, I put a check mark next to the ones that were written in decimal form already. I am going to convert these into decimal. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have 0.123 zeros and then 314. This next one, I'm going to move the decimal over 5 places. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And put in zeros in the rest of the values where I moved my decimal. And then this last one, I'm going to move the decimal over because this is positive 4 to the right. Make it a big number. 1, 2, 3, 4. My answer right there is 30. So what I'm going to do now is see which one of these values is the least. And it's going to be this one right here because it has 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros, then a 1. Now, the next one, next smallest value, is going to be this value with 3 zeros and a 2. This had 3 zeros and a 3. 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 7. Then the 3 zeros and the 314. Then comes this one with the 2 zeros, and then 30 by far is the largest value. So those are your values from least to greatest, ranking those from least to greatest. Now, the next concept we talked about were percentages and wholesales and markups and that concept. So let's take a look at 3 and 4. We have a coat that was $360, but it's gone up 15%. I saw gone up markup. It used to be $360, but it has gone up 15% more of $360 since then. So there are my values. So I have $360. It's been a while since we've done these. Don't forget to move your decimal over 2 places. So this is going to be plus 0.15 times 360. That's going to give me 360 plus those 2 multiplied, 0.15 times 360 is 54. That would be $414. That is in multiple choice format. That's the way you're going to see it on your final. So there's how you do number 3. Number 4 is basically the same thing, except we're looking at a sales price and a discount problem. I saw the word sales price here, so I went to that formula. My sales price of this item was $54.54. The retail price, where it came down from before it went on sale, I don't know what it is. So I'm just going to call that X. I know it was discounted 25% off of some value x. So there's my value. There are my values into my formula. So I have 54 is equal to x. Move the decimal over 2 places, minus 0.25. There is my x. Don't forget there is a 1 in front of your x value. So I have 54 is equal to 0.75 times x. And now I'm going to divide both sides through by 0.75. So I would have an x value of 72. So my answer is choice B. So there's how you would do number 3 on the markup side and number 4 on the discount side of that formula. Let's take a look at number 5. Like I said, we're on our way to question 11 on this first part of the video review. We have a list of models, and we want to see which one would be a parabola opening up. So what I'm looking for is an equation with an x squared, because that's a quadratic, that's going to be a parabola. Then I'm looking for the a coefficient in front of the x squared to be positive. My choice would be C. That is a parabola, x is squared, and the a value is positive. This is a parabola that opens down. X is squared, but the a value is negative. Choice D is a line that increases. And you might be saying, well, why is it a line? X is not squared. Why does it increase? That slope there, M3, that coefficient is positive. Same deal here. This is a line, x is not squared, and this decreases because this slope m is negative. So on this practice test, you had a parabola that was opening up. Maybe on the final exam you have a parabola that opens down, or a linear graph, I don't know, but I just wanted to go over all of those options. Now, for number 6, we have John, who's keeping track of how much lemonade he's selling. He has this equation where that 0.28 is slope. So he thinks, he's determined that if he sees n customers in a day, he will sell that many gallons of lemonade. And what does that mean in terms of his lemonade stand? And what it means is for each customer that he sees, John sells 0.28 more gallons of lemonade. So there's number 6. All right, number 7, we've moved on. We're going to talk about finding the vertex of a parabola. And here is my model, and this one's a little tricky because this model is not in standard form. I have to rewrite this model so it is in standard form. A has to come first, and that's with your x squared term. It was not your first term here. B is your second term. It's the coefficient with your x value. Now I'm ready to go. It's in standard form. I have an a value and a b value. My x coordinate of any vertex is negative b over 2a. So plugging in these values, I have b, which is 8. The minus is from the formula. My a value is negative 2. So I have negative 8 over negative 4, which is positive 2. Now, to find the y coordinate, all I have to do is plug in x into my model and do a little bit of math. So I have negative 2 times 4 plus 16, which is negative 8, plus 16, which is positive 8. My answer, is choice D right there. X is 2, Y is 8, and I'm good to go. Let's take a look at number 8. Basically the same thing, except we're talking about a football that's been kicked. We want to find the x and y coordinate, the maximum height of the ball. So let's do the exact same process. The x coordinate of this vertex is negative b over 2a. This model is in standard form. So there's my a value and my b value, negative 1.6. That negative again is from the equation. My a value is negative 0.1. So I have negative 1.6 over negative 0.2, which is equal to 8. That is the x coordinate of the vertex. Now, to find the y coordinate, I'm going to plug in 8 into this equation and do a little bit of multiplication in my calculator. So I have negative 0.1 times 64 plus these two values multiplied is 12.8. So I have negative 6.4 plus 12.8. That's going to give me 6.4. X coordinate, y coordinate. Now, to answer this question, the maximum height, vertical distance from the ground to where the football reaches the maximum height, is going to be the y coordinate. This measures the distance along the ground. We're looking for the maximum height. My answer would be choice B. Let's take a look at these last few and we'll be done with the review for chapter 1. For number 9, which one of these graphs increases exponentially? My answer would be that one, the first choice right there. The second choice would be a line or a linear increase. This third choice would be exponential decrease. And then the last one, this would be logarithmic. So there is how the difference between each one of those. So exponentially increasing is that one there. Take a look at number 10. Which of the following is equivalent to 13 raised to the 5th is that value? I have the log of base 13 of this value right here is equal to my exponent. So my answer for that would be choice A. Now, in English, another way you could write this out, the logarithm of this big number, 371, 293, base 13 is 5. So we have 3 different ways we can write the same expression. This is probably what you learned in 6th grade. Here's what you learned when you went over logarithms, and here's the English expression that would read this out from the logarithmic equivalent. So last one for chapter 1, let's take a look at number 11. We want to use this model to predict the percent of final adult height of a male who is 8 years of age. So we are going to plug in an 8-year-old male into this model to make a prediction about his final adult height, the percentage. So the percent is 61.8 plus 36. 8 minus 4 is 4. So all I did was subtract those two values. Now I have to take out my calculator and find the log of 4. And that's 0.602. And when I multiply all of these values together, 61.8, that added is 21.67. So the percent of adult height is 83.474%. My answer is choice B. So there is how you would do that one with the logarithmic expression. Up next, part 2, we'll continue this working through your practice final exam.